We all recognize how effective the family values theme has worked for all Republican candidates for the past 8+ years. So why aren't we seeing that theme in the 2008 presidential election? Possibly because the Republican candidates well know that when you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones. Specifically, compromising, hypocritical events like the following make it unwise to continue to extol your party's family values virtues. Consider former Republican U.S. Representative Mark Foley sending a sexually laced, grammatically challenged instant message and emails to teenage boys in the Congressional Page program for more than 10 years. Also consider former Republican U.S. Senator Larry Craig, who was also Senate liaison for Mitt Romney's presidential campaign. Larry Craig solicited sex from an undercover cop in an airport bathroom. What about former Florida State House of Representative Bob Allen, who was also Florida chairman of John McCain's presidential campaign? He offered $20 to an undercover cop to allow Allen to perform oral sex on him in a men's room in a public park. And then, after being arrested, tried to explain it away by saying that he was only offered to perform oral sex on the cop because the cop was a burly black man and he didn't want to become a statistic. Another reason for the heave to the back seat may be that most of the Republican candidates' family values rhetoric has been compromised by their one or more divorces. It's difficult at best for a candidate to convincingly espouse family values of religious righteousness, fidelity, and sanctity of marriage when they've been divorced. Republicans Rudy Giuliani, John McCain, and Fred Thompson have been divorced and remarried. Giuliani is in his third marriage, and McCain and Thompson are each in their second. Thompson, 65, is 24 years older than his wife Jerry. McCain, 71, is 18 years older than his wife Cindy. But the Republicans' 30+ year definition and platform of family values runs deeper than its core principle of the fidelity and sanctity of marriage and the sex scandals of a few of them. It also encompasses opposition to the Equal Rights Amendment, women working outside the home, legal abortion, same-sex marriage, and embryonic stem cell research. These are all very sensitive issues, and the Republican Party well knows to push these buttons every election to get what they really want: votes. That is, until now. What was perceived as so wrong and intolerable just 4 years ago is now viewed as no more than a public nuisance. USA Today reported on September 19th of 2007 that a Gallup poll it conducted found that most voters say family values in general are important to them, but they don't care much about candidates' personal lives. Now that's a radically stark departure from the hate-filled attacks on President Bill Clinton for having an affair with a White House intern, receiving oral sex in the Oval Office, and being unfaithful to the First Lady. Of course, he made it worse when on January 26th of 1998, he got a little too cute in his deposition when he stated under oath that he did not have sexual relations with that woman. If the truth be known, American voters are most likely only amused by these sex scandals, and they just don't care who got divorced or how many times. They are more concerned with the number of Pamela Anderson's divorces than those of any presidential candidate. The downside is that American voters have become skeptical of politicians' self-righteous and self-serving claims. The bottom line is that family values has lost its punch as a campaign issue. Americans have replaced their concern for family values with broader, more immediate concerns, such as the war in Iraq, Osama bin Laden, military actions in Afghanistan, nuclear programs in Iran and North Korea, the threat of terrorism, and the economy here right at home. So don't look for an onslaught of dirty digs to and innuendo about each other. It seems they're all human, and they all have skeletons in the closet. More so, There's something about politics in Washington that makes people thirsty, lonely, and irrational. So, if you think President Clinton was the first president to have an affair with a White House intern, or if you think he was the first president to have sex in the Oval Office, you're very naive. If you think that the elected officials in your state capitol and the U.S. Capitol haven't had sex in their offices, you're just plain dumb. And while I see myself as a realist, if you think I'm just a cynic, you might be smarter than I gave you credit for.